We, as women, I feel like are drowning a lot in our own thoughts, in our own minds, in our own lives. And so the idea of building a beautiful life, it's so intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. We can take it baby steps at a time. You can start with what is something you've always wanted to do, always wanted to learn. Think about something that scares you, but you think you might be able to do it, and start there.
Today's episode is with Sarah Merrill, who many of you probably know from Instagram as Sarah Flips It. She's a builder, a DIY expert, and one of the most capable and funny people I know. But what I love most about Sarah is that she's not just building houses and projects. She's really built herself, her family, her marriage, and her life very intentionally. In this episode, we talk about what it actually looks like to build a beautiful life over time. We talk about strong marriages, building yourself, learning new skills, taking risk, failing a lot, and figuring things out as you go. And we share plenty of our own failures and aha moments along the way. She's hilarious, she's honest, and she was such a fun guest to have in the studio. I think you're going to love this conversation. Before we jump in, I want to tell you about something we're doing this month through the show called Share Good, Do Good. Our financial partner this month is Capita Financial Network. And instead of sponsoring the podcast in the traditional way, they are actually donating $1 for every download of the show this month to a nonprofit called Return and Rise. Return and Rise offers fully sponsored 10-week programs for women who want to enter the workforce for the full time, or who may want to return after being home with kids, rebuilding after a life transition, or just looking to figure out what's next and gain new skills and confidence. Everything through Return and Rise is free, and it's an incredible program run by incredible people. So every time you listen or share this episode, you are literally helping fund women who are building their next chapter. All right, let's get into the conversation with my friend Sarah. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So fun to have you on. I sometimes have guests on that I don't know at all, but I don't think I've ever had the random 1 week blitz reach out on Instagram friendship that we've had for the last week.
Literally instant.
It's so good.
I love it.
So good. So tell us a little bit about yourself, the work you do, where you are in life.
Okay. I'll try to be brief. Cut me off if I'm too long-winded, but hi, friends of Lizzy. My name is Sarah Merrill. I have an Instagram page, Sarah Flips It, where I do a lot of DIY. I was telling Lizzy, I didn't know how to use a drill 4 years ago, and now I am comfortable on a table saw. I'm building built-ins in my house, built a bunk bed for my kids. I just retiled my laundry room. Anyway, so I just do a lot of DIY, and it's honestly been just really something that has brought me so much joy through motherhood. And I started this Instagram page not thinking anything of it. I was working a corporate job, and it kind of just took off. And now I have this awesome opportunity to connect with other women. I talk about the chaos of motherhood, the beauty of motherhood, and just the hot mess that I live in day in and day out.
So good.
Yeah.
And I'm not like we already talked about this. I don't even monetize my own podcast. So I'm not a big plugger or marketer, but I have to say you guys have to check our page out. It is joy. The fact that you said you feel joy creating it and doing all the things you do completely comes through when you see your stuff online. Cause it's just this woman's happy. This woman's not trying to prove something. She is living fulfilled. You can feel that.
Yeah.
Totally feel it.
It is so fun. It's been the biggest blessing, honestly, just with everything, but it's wild, but it's so fun. And then I get to make all these new friends. This is my favorite part is connecting with the Lizzys of the world.
It's so good.
I love it.
I think probably half of my dearest friends have all come from online.
Oh, same. It's wild.
Bizarre.
I'm social has a bad rap because honestly, it's the best thing ever if you let it be, right?
Yep.
I love it.
So we were chatting beforehand on where we want to take this episode. And I have just a couple weeks ago released an episode about who I want to speak to on this podcast and who I want to help. And what is this, I'll call it a ministry, all about? And it really is to speak to the builders, to the people who are building beautiful lives, building beautiful communities, building beautiful selves, focusing on building themselves in healthy ways and building beautiful faith. For me, that's who I want to reach because I know I'm not going to change the whole world. Hopefully I change a handful of people, but if the people that I reach are the people that are building beautiful things, that's going to magnify to everyone, which I'm obsessed with. And
I love it.
And I think men are doing so much to change the world. So what I'm going to say next has nothing to do with how I feel about men. But we do live in a generation right now where women's voices are being unleashed in a way that never could have been before. It just wasn't even possible. And so I see that as a real stewardship to say, okay, what am I going to do with the opportunity that I have living in the coolest time of all times?
Totally. It's amazing.
It's the best. And we're online and have platforms to do it. So shortly after I recorded that episode,
I reached
out and talked about, and I was just kind of laughing. Like, I mean, you were so sweet in your message, but I looked over, I was like, did I just like manifest a builder to myself?
Literally. You're like, I was like, you are such a light. Like, I want to be your bestie. And then you're like, I'm recording a builders episode. I'm like, I'm a builder. Let's be best friends.
You're a literal builder.
I know. That's so wild, honestly.
But where I'd love to take this episode, now neither of us are like old wise sages.
Yeah.
That I hope to be someday. Like in my 90s, I just want to be like this white haired goddess that has all the wisdom, you know?
Yes. No, I literally dream about being a grandmother, and I'm like, I'm gonna wear whatever, like pink overalls.
Yes.
I'm gonna dye my hair purple, and I'm gonna sit at the Salt Lake airport and watch missionaries come home. I am not kidding.
Gosh.
That's my retirement plan. You know what I'm talking about? You know, like the white thing
at the totally the blob of whatever. I'm sure it's fancy art.
Yes,
I shouldn't call
the
it
installation. Yes, I'm gonna just sit there and watch and cry. It's the most like it's magic.
Good.
Anyway,
so good.
Sorry.
Okay, so we both have visions of being old women.
Okay,
so
I love
it's
it.
appropriate
Sitting on a bench together.
what we're doing. But I want to talk about building a beautiful life.
Okay,
and I want that to be the episode we focus on. And again, neither of us are like in our 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
In 10 years, we may not agree with what we say right now, and I'm fine with it. I use this analogy, and I'm going to share this. I actually used this at a conference last year, and it kind of came to me in the middle of a panel, and I think about it all the time.
Okay.
I see women and especially mothers as like all of us climbing a mountain, right? And you have those wise sages sitting at the top of the mountain, and they can see the whole mountain. And so they can give you really timeless perspective. And they maybe say 3 things actually matter. And if you are kind and you're good and you keep persevering and you endure, you'll reach the top. And they're totally right. And then you get to a certain part on the mountain, and there's recently been like a landfall or a mudslide. And you're like, the sage on the top can't really help me. Like, I don't actually know how to navigate this.
Yeah.
Maybe I've just had my first baby and I have mastitis and I'm going totally crazy in my brain. And I don't know how to work through this marriage relationship, who's now a new dad for the first time, you know.
Yeah.
The sage can kind of give me the perspective to be like, everything's going to be okay. But if there's someone who just went through it, or literally like last year had mastitis and thought she was going crazy, she can give me a different perspective, right? And then the same thing on another turn and another. And having someone a couple steps ahead is so valuable. 1 step ahead is so valuable. And it's also really fun to have trail mates who were like, this part sucks and I feel like I'm going to fall off the mountain.
Yep.
And we can commiserate for a minute together.
Yep.
Or, oh my gosh, look at the view.
Yeah.
This is so beautiful. So, Sarah, how old are you? Can I ask?
Yeah,
on air?
32.
Okay, so we're exactly a decade apart.
Cute.
I love this. So Sarah's in her 30s, I'm in my 40s, and we're going to give perspective for where we are right now on building a beautiful life. And my hope is we'll see it from 2 different vantage points, but also maybe challenge each other a little bit, but also like share some truth for women listening in, maybe even who are 22, saying, how do I navigate this next switchback and this next part? I also want to invite us both to like be open about stuff that we may be like, this totally surprised me and this isn't what I expected.
Okay.
And if there's things we just don't know, we don't know, which I'm more and more fine about.
I love it.
Okay. So I'm excited as we chat to really talk about like, what does that journey look like for us? And there's usually trial and error in any mountain climbing or in any journey like this, where you think that something is going to be beautiful and maybe you thought it would be big. And then what actually turns out to be the thing that works for you is usually a little bit different. So that's where I'd love to go with this. And what's your journey been like as you have looked to create a beautiful life for you?
Gosh, and again, like I think everyone's just kind of trying their best in their current season, right? Like we're all in different seasons. And I think that's actually something that's helped me a lot with building my beautiful life. I don't know. I just feel like in this life, nothing is permanent. You can always adjust your sails, and maybe what you thought was beautiful in this stage of life maybe is losing its luster and you want to shift to something else, right? Like I get messages like this all the time where it's like, I wish I could do what you do. It's like, you can. Like, I wasn't born knowing how to use a table saw, right? And whatever that looks like for you, you know, I just think it's so, so important that you look at what beautiful is to you, right? Like having that reflection of like, okay, what do I want my life to look like? What does it look like right now? What do I want it to look like? And what's your why behind that? And I think then you can kind of start, you know, like start small. I don't know.
I love that so much, especially because women are so, compared to men, statistically more afraid of failure.
Yeah.
And if they feel like they're going to fail at a thing, they won't start
They won't
it
do
at
it.
all.
Right.
It's not just like, well, let me go halfway or let me like
No.
take something out of it. They don't even start the thing.
Totally.
So the ability to just say, try stuff, and it can be totally imperfect. It will be totally imperfect, but know you can pivot at any time, hopefully takes out that fear of failure, that it's not even so that I reach some end destination. The starting of it might be the thing, like the trying it out. You might meet someone at that time, or like go to a class that opens your eyes to another class you want to take. But if you're so scared that it has to get to a certain point, you'll never start it on. So like you can adjust your sails at any time, I feel like is brilliant, especially for moms. I love that advice.
Yes. And I always say too, scare yourself slowly. And what I mean by that is do something that scares you a little bit, right? Like you don't need to jump from, I don't know how to use, like in my case, you don't have to jump from, I don't know how to use power tools to I'm going to build a bunk bed, right? Like scare yourself slowly, meaning, okay, I'm going to find a space in my home that I just want to paint if you've never painted before. What you have so much at your fingertips as far as information goes, right? Like I use YouTube, I use other creators, and learn things, do your research, and paint the wall. You know what I mean? Then the next time you go to paint a wall, you're going to know way more. Even if you completely botched it and it looks horrible, the next wall you paint, I promise you, it will look even better, right? So it's like, and like you said, if we never start, if we let that fear of failure completely stunt our growth, happiness is so embedded in growth. And I think that is part of building a beautiful life is you have to start somewhere. You have to pick up blocks to build, right? If you just leave the blocks on the floor, you're never going to build that beautiful life, right? And it's hard. Failure's hard, you know? I mean, we tell our kids, like, you know, talk to yourself like you're talking to your kids, right? Like, as far as building goes, it's like you want them to try. You want them to learn. You want them to fail because the best way to learn is to fail because failure plus growth equals happiness. So if you can choose to learn from your failures, you're going to build this happy, beautiful life for sure. So.
When people talk about failure and like fail frequently, fail faster, I really look back at my life and I've done things that are totally outside of my comfort zone. But I'm like, if I really believed that, I would have bigger failures on my resume.
Yeah, totally.
And I think most men have big failures, but it doesn't rattle them as much. Now, this is like total talking and like, this is typical male, typical female. Lots of females don't fit the profile. Lots of males don't fit the profile, right? But you talk to men and they're like, yeah, I got fired from that job. Or I tried this thing and it didn't work. Or I lost this house because it was a little bit over leveraged. And it's like, I would be devastated for the rest of my life. That would be like the black mark on my life's resume instead of saying, but what are all the other things that I would do if I wasn't so scared of that black mark?
Totally.
Why am I not living bigger?
Yeah.
Because I do a thing once I'm certain of it. Once I know people are coming to a conference, I'll do it. Or once, now that's not always accurate. I've started podcasts, I've started Instagrams, I've started blogs. Like I have taken the leap, but maybe part of the key is I have scared myself slowly where it's like, I've had the idea, but then I let it be almost like a pregnancy for this birth of this idea, right? Where it's like, give myself a couple months where the actual launch, by the time I launch, I've thought about it so much, it's like it's already been birthed.
It's comfortable.
And it's comfortable.
Totally. And I think that's where we get, I don't know, a hiccup, I guess, is like, you know, you look at something, you know, I use DIY references, but like you look at someone that built that, right? So like I've come back to my bunk beds that I built. I built them when I was like 6 months pregnant. It was not a pretty picture. I am telling you, climbing a ladder 6 months pregnant, woof. Anyway, but you look at that and you're just like, whoa, that's so cool. Like she's, and I think Instagram and social kind of like paints this picture of like, wow, that's so easy for her. Like you guys have no idea. Like I am, you know, in the rocking chair feeding my baby and I am Googling how to cut a piece of plywood, right? Like anyone can do this. But like you said, like you have to have that pregnancy period for your big ideas or for your passion projects where you're doing so much research and thinking through, okay, exactly how am I going to do this? Or exactly what am I going to do? And why do I want to do it? And is that going to fulfill me? You know? I don't know if that makes sense. But
Totally.
Yeah.
How did you go from, you said you worked in corporate. What were you doing in corporate? And then how did you scare yourself slowly into the first power tool and take that leap?
Gosh, okay, let me think. So I have a degree in public relations. And so I was working in marketing for a B2B tech company. I won't bore you with the details, but they did a lot with like land survey and data collection with rugged tablets and things like that. And so I started as a marketing writer, and I actually left as marketing manager. I was managing 11 people, and it was just like, it was a lot, and it was so fun. But I don't know. I mean, and at that point I had 2 babies and I was pregnant, and I had started this little social on the side, but it was kind of just like a fun little, I don't know. It was like, you know, I'd put my babies to sleep and then I'd book it out to the garage to go say something by myself and pop in some music. And it was just like therapy, you know? But then I remember getting to this point where it was like, this could be something. And do I want it to be something? And the butterflies and just the idea of doing something bigger and doing something that was very scary, you know, was huge. But okay, so going back to like using my first power tool, let's think. So I was painting a lot of dressers. I was flipping dressers. This is like mid-COVID. I was making like hundreds, guys. I was rolling and I was flipping for like a very minimal profit. And then I remember one day I wanted to build a headboard. That was my first build. One of like the arched headboards. And I remember the ones at Pottery Barn were like insane amounts of money for like a little headboard for my toddler bed. That's what it was, my toddler bed. And so I needed to learn how to use a jigsaw, which if you don't know, it's kind of like the tool, you like press it and it's almost like a sewing machine, but like handheld. I don't know if that makes sense.
Where the blade goes like up and down.
Up and down.
Okay.
That's a jigsaw.
Okay. I didn't even know what a jigsaw was. I'm so happy you taught me this because I can like use that term when I see it now. Oh, that's a jigsaw.
Pass me the jigsaw, babe.
That's a jigsaw. I know.
Anyway, and so I remember I actually just went down to Walmart, got the cheapest jigsaw I could find. And you would have laughed so hard if you could see me that day. I was sitting in the backyard on my kid's Lifetime table, like the plastic Lifetime table. And I'm pulling out these huge instructions and thinking to myself, I'm probably the first person on planet Earth to read instructions on how to use this, right? Because a bunch of dudes like, I don't need that. I'm just gonna.
It cuts. What else is it supposed to do?
Yeah. So I remember I installed this is probably horrible to admit, but I installed the blade wrong. So I'm like cutting toward me, and like I still have a little notch in like the little Lifetime table, but but now I know how to use one. I can use it with I'm not gonna, but I could use it with my eyes closed now. But had I not taken that moment to be like, okay, I've painted enough dressers at this point. I'm bored of painting dressers, right? I know how to install knobs. I'm going to take the next step. But see, I scared myself slowly. And the growth that I had that day, just like the fulfillment that I got from using that tool to now where it's like, I just feel way more prepared to literally build. And then also, you know, like we're talking about, build this beautiful life, but it's just these baby steps. You know, it doesn't have to be this grandiose thing you're going to do. You know, I think this can be a very intimidating topic for a lot of women just because as women, I feel like are drowning a lot in our own thoughts and our own minds and our own lives. We're just, everyone needs to be everywhere. And I haven't even done my hair today, you know? And so the idea of building a beautiful life, it's like, it's so intimidating, but it doesn't have to be, you know? We can take it baby steps at a time. You can start with what is something you've always wanted to do, always wanted to learn. Think about something that scares you, but you think you might be able to do it and start there, you know?
I love that. And even talking about the curiosity around it, you mentioned that, like, I was just kind of curious and I had this one side thing. And then also you can match it with a current need, like could be extra cash. Like what could I get paid to do? But also I want to make a cute toddler bed. I want beauty and actual physical beauty in my life. And I'm not going to pay what a store charges, but I have time and I have hands that want to be creative. Starting there and just seeing like, now again, are you going to turn it into a huge Instagram that then becomes a business? Maybe not, but is it going to bring joy to you right now and make your life a little more beautiful? And I think what you mentioned there at the end is so huge. When you do something you didn't know you could do, and if there was a little bit of a question if you could, I think that's where confidence is born.
Totally.
When I have a question in my mind, I'm going to do it anyway. There's another layer of confidence. If you kind of already knew you did, it doesn't build much. Now, if you were scared out of your mind, it's going to build a ton of confidence.
Totally.
But especially if nobody helps you and nobody is stepping in, it's like the next question that obviously will come is like, if I could do that, what else could I do that I didn't
What else could I
think?
do? Exactly. And I love it. It's like, we were talking about this earlier, but like self-care doesn't always look like bubble baths. And I just wish I could just like hold so many women in my life and be like, you can do it. Like, seriously, you, not anyone else, you can do it. When people say like, I wish I could do that, you can. The drive has to be there and the patience to learn, and that's it. Like, you totally can, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's not a creative thing, maybe that's not your cup of tea, maybe you want to learn how to cook better, I don't know, anything, but you totally can if the passion's there and the patience.
I also love that you went social with it. I actually think we get it wrong sometimes. I don't think a lot of us turn to social for everybody to see it. I think we turn to social because we want people to share our experience with us. And if we could realize that was actually the need or the job to be done from social, maybe more frequently women could say, could I start a club around this? Or is there one woman I know who also wants to build a bunk bed? And could we learn how to build this bunk bed together? Like, I think right now it's like, if I try something new and it's going to go somewhere, it has to be online. And another outlet for social is still in person.
Totally.
And it's a very fulfilling outlet.
Yeah. And
as a friend or a neighbor
Yes.
or a group of 5 women who are like, okay, I really want to learn. I don't know, what's the latest thing? Mahjong.
Yeah.
Get your girls together
Yeah.
and learn this thing. But if it's also something that meets a need and fulfills a need in your heart, whether it's beauty or it's self-care or it's faith or I want to eat better or whatever, to be able to say, who are the people that I want to walk on this mountain with me, who we can go through the hard and laugh at ourselves and be like,
Yeah.
we look so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that was and failure's a lot more fun with someone too.
It is.
You know?
Yeah. And honestly, like, more than anything, what I've learned with building a beautiful life is connections are everything. Truly, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you're stripped of everything, it's the connections that you've made and what you're able to give people and get from people that is so big. I just think, I don't know, we minimize that sometimes, and maybe that's just because of where I'm at and where you're at, where we're creators. Like, I think sometimes people think like, whoa, she's got so many followers. Like, she's, whatever. There's like this, you make assumptions, right? But at the end of the day, I'm talking to my phone with my toddlers hanging out next to me, right? Like, I'm not talking to this huge group of people. And so we lack that sometimes. Like, I think even the people that are most successful on paper can still be the loneliest, It's like, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but like, there's lots of different currencies in this life, and that's like one of the keystones of a beautiful life is these connections that you build along the way,
Explain the idea of currencies more. I loved this. I hadn't heard someone say it this way.
This is my favorite thing in the world. And it's something that really helps ground me in moments where I'm just getting frazzled with things. But I always say money is not the only currency, right? Like, if that is all you are thinking about is how we can have more and build more, it's not the only currency. You can be rich in, financially, but poor with friendships, poor with your faith, poor in other areas, or rich in other areas. I was explaining this concept to my toddler. We were talking about this. He is football obsessed, and poor kid is in the 10th percentile for weight. So we'll see where that dream goes. But he's like, Mom, which football team pays more, BYU or UCF? I'm like, babe, I don't know, but you don't need to worry about that. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of money on paper, but they don't have a lot of friends, because that's where their focus is. So I just think, when building this, of course, there is that element. You have to be able to provide and to, it's okay to want to have a comfortable life in that aspect, but there's so many types of currencies, followers, like, what matters to you and what currency is most important to you. It doesn't always look the same for everyone,
I think that's a really great question. I talk about journaling so much on this podcast. I'm like,
I need to do that. Honestly, I heard you. I'm like, no, I love you for that.
It is so life-changing. But I think that's a really good journaling question. Like, what is the currency that actually speaks most to me? And are my current resources aligned with the currency that matters?
Totally.
Because you can do an easy audit. You can do your own little accounting audit on yourself. I say that relationships matter so much, or I say that having a successful business matters so much. But when it comes down to it, if I'm only spending a portion of the time on my business and stressing the rest of it, or I'm spending so much time on my business that I don't actually invest in friendships and relationships, it can still be the thing that drives you. But the more misaligned you are, the more shame and guilt you're going to be carrying because, and just like sadness, like if you want to build a beautiful life and you're misaligned there, you don't want to be sad. That's a key. We don't want to be sad.
Or not. I feel like also like we're, as women, I feel like even more so than men, we are so guilt driven.
Yeah.
Right. And that's tough. It's tough to always, like we were talking before we started recording, but like men complain like, I don't know how to read women. Women's brains are so confusing. I'm like, try living with it, dude. Like, at least you get a break. Like, we are stuck.
You're trying to figure out what you really think and feel at any given moment. All
the time.
And your hormones
and your
are
whys.
A roller coaster.
Oh,
and it's like, yeah, if it takes me a month to figure out what I really feel on a topic and what I really want out of life.
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
It's fine. But yes. I don't know.
Yeah. But I love that as like a takeaway. Again, if you're in your 20s or you're in your 30s and you're like, I want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel like my life is beautiful for me and for my spouse and for my kids, where all of us in the home feel like we can totally magnify the best and most beautiful parts of ourselves. Start by asking, what do I actually want? Mm-hmm. Because if I'm turning to the right or the left and like, well, Sarah does this. And we were talking about like, you know, I don't monetize anything I do right now. And you were running a full business with yours, right?
Yeah.
And it may be totally right for both of us.
Yeah.
And that's fine that the answers are totally different, but I better be really clear again, or there's going to be like the misalignment that just throws my heart out of whack when it's like, this isn't really where I want to be. I've kind of told myself I want to be here, or I have pressure from other people saying that this is where I should be. Totally. I think the pressure and comparison can kill a beautiful life, maybe faster than anything else, you know?
Yes. And I think too, I love that point. I think like, what do I want? And also why? Because I think sometimes we think we know what we want, but when you really drill down and ask yourself why you want that, it could be completely different, right? Like I have this sweet friend that Brooke Walker, you probably know Brooke.
Brooke is awesome.
She's incredible. And I remember I've been pressuring her. I'm like, you need to start a YouTube channel. Like you would do so good and da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, yeah, I really think I would love to just be a kindergarten teacher. And I remember after she said that, I was just thinking, and I'm like, but she would be so awesome and she could do all this stuff and she'd have so many of this and this and this. And I'm like, that probably doesn't matter to her anymore, right? Like, you know, and I think that was more of just like a fun, like, I don't know how serious she was, you know, I just like, but I just, I don't know, it like hit me in a way that was just like, you know, a lot of times you think there's all these things you could be doing, but what do you want to do and why? And I just thought, I don't know why, I just thought that was so cool. Like just all of her perspective. She just has a great perspective. Mm-hmm. But it's just interesting, I think, just thinking about why too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Ask that and write it and write it and write it. If you have to write it for a few pages, you'll start to see where there's lies or pressure from other people.
Yeah.
If you take the time to say like, but really why?
Yeah.
Is it because then if I ask another level of whys, is it because then I think people will accept me? Oh, okay. What I'm really looking for is acceptance. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now what do I really want to do next? What is the thing I need next to feel whole or to feel fulfilled in what I'm doing?
I need a journal.
You need
Seriously.
to journal. I don't know
why
journal,
it always feels
Sarah.
kind of like it always kind of feels like a job.
Totally.
Bad.
It felt like a job.
But
for
even
my
like
whole
self-help
life.
stuff, sometimes it's like intimidating for me to even listen. I probably shouldn't say that on the Lizzy Jensen Show podcast. Cut it. No, but like, you know what I mean though? Like sometimes it's just like so overwhelming where like we talked about, like it just becomes kind of like a checklist, which it doesn't need to be. Yep. I just think we do that as women too. We put such a burden on us, like, okay, now I've got to build this beautiful life. Okay, where do I start? I got to do this. It's like if we just take a minute to just breathe and be in the moment, that's probably one of my biggest takeaways with everything that I'm doing in my life right now. Is just trying to be way more intentional with my time, right? Like right now I'm here with you and we are talking, right? When I'm home and not working, I want to be with my kids. I want to be involving them in what I need to get done, right? I don't know. Just being more intentional, I think.
I read a book forever ago. What's it called? Essentialism, Gregory McCune.
Okay.
It's been like a top 10 multiple times. The book's amazing. But he has a phrase in there like, if you want to succeed, you need to know how to win. And the acronym is know what's important now. And I feel like that's actually really good advice for women. Just what you said. If in the moment I can say what's important right now, if I can be present in this right at this moment, and I do that, and that's how I live my day, and I take out the worry and anxiety, and I'm just like, okay, what's important now? I'm making dinner with my kids, and what's important now is full presence.
Totally.
Laughing, happiness, dancing more, singing more. The fastest way for me to get thrown is starting to worry about something else or feeling like I don't know what's coming. All the fun and like the joy bubble can be around life, it's deflated.
Oh my gosh.
It's just done.
Love that. It's so true. And that's like such a good thing, like with dinner, like what's important now. I love that because I love to involve my kids in my projects as much as they want to be involved. And I remember someone making a comment, and it's even hard for my husband. Like he's a lot more, he likes things in order, and I'm like, just let him get messy. I don't care, you know, but like what's important now. I love that because is the important thing that I get dinner on the table at 5:30, or is the important thing that my kids are learning with me and they're experimenting and they're spilling a little bit, but then the next time they go to measure, it's probably going to be better. And that's what I want, you know? So you do have to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, what actually matters right now? And I think that's part of building a beautiful life as well.
I think it's good for women to recognize that path of what's important now is usually the slower path with the longer, better destination.
Yeah.
Like you can take the fast route of make my kids do things, be like super authoritarian, come down hard, and I'm totally speaking to myself. If my husband's listening to this episode, he'll be like, yeah, you work on this every day and you probably will work on it till the day you die. Cause
look, we're all out here trying.
We have to still have, otherwise dinner doesn't happen. And
yes. But that's the thing. It's not always like,
it's not always.
That's my thing is like, what's important now it's not always the same answer. Sometimes dinner does need to be on the table at 5:30 because we have something going on next. So the more important thing is that I do all the measuring and she doesn't help me. Do you know what I mean?
But I think if more often the end goal, you actually ask about the end goal, even if it's every once in a while you're asking about the end goal, it's not going to be every meal you make, right?
Yeah.
And more often than not, it's not going to be the time and it's not going to be the perfection that was ever the goal. Not the perfect dinner, not the perfect bunk bed, not the perfect yard, not the perfect hairstyle for me or my kids. None of ours are ever perfect. Like if I could remember that more as a woman to say, what I really want is confidence and fulfillment.
And feel good about yourself.
And that my kids feel like they can take risks and they can try things. And if it doesn't come out perfectly or on time, that wasn't the point. Totally. Wasn't the point of it. But we make it the point I make it the point all the time. Yeah. Getting dinner down at the right time. Getting the thing looking right in order. Yeah. That's the end goal.
And it's hard not to.
It's not the end goal of motherhood.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard not to. Like that's not to say that you can't find joy in having a clean, organized home. You can't find joy in having dinner on the table at a certain time. It's just, I think it's just taking a step back and realizing that if things shift, it's going to be okay. You know, like that's hard for us as women sometimes, you know, and like just really thinking through like when you're having those really stressful, anxiety driven moments, just taking a step back and being like, why am I actually worried right now? You know, like, does it need to be a thing? Probably not. You know,
when we were talking before, you told me I have therapy eyes, but I feel like this session right now, this last thing we talked about was fully my therapy session that I need to hear. So thank you for that. I love it. I do want to go back to something you said about self-care and journaling and self-improvement, not self-care, self-improvement, feeling like it's a have to do and it's a checklist. The episode you referenced about the builders.
Yeah.
I was going to take the last part of my season in a totally different direction and still am like debating, like, do I just do one episode on this or do I something else? I've been trying a new way of looking at life.
Okay.
And rather than this production mindset or productivity mindset, I should say, or what do I have to get done or instead saying, what would my life look like if I let joy lead? What if joy was actually my driver, not productivity? How would that change how I felt about what I was doing? And how would it change actually the decisions I make with my time? And in the end, here's the question.
Okay.
In the end, which path would lead me to more productivity that matters? Making a productive plan or a joy plan?
I love it. Do you feel like productivity is rooted in joy sometimes though, or no?
Well, I think that's the question of the end game, right? Like if I actually led with joy.
Like what brings you joy?
With what brings me joy.
Like as far as like doing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I wonder if I actually might be more productive and effective as my outcome than if I started with the productivity goal. If I just said, okay, what would make me feel joyful? And I have 10 motherhood tasks on my plate today.
Yeah, totally.
All of them kind of need to get done anyway. So I already know there's an opportunity cost. If I do this one doesn't get done.
Yeah.
And if I leaned into joy, how would I feel when I was doing it? who would I involve? Am I more likely to involve my kids in the process or not? How much more would I get done? How much less likely would I have that it would lead to burnout? And at the end of the day, how much, this is going to be a funny one, but like, would I feel more connected and want to hang out with my husband after or not?
Yeah, no, totally.
Because I'm so burnt out. I'm just I can't.
Just like, I can't. You need to not look in my direction. I need you to actually put your nose against the wall, hon. No, I totally get that. I love that. And I think, I think we all are on this like spectrum, right? Of like, we have women over here that are like, I need to get it all done. I need to have everything perfect. I need to make sure that everything is this and this and this and this and this and this. And then I think on the other hand, we kind of have the women that are like, and I don't know, maybe this is wrong. And you tell me, you're the one with therapy eyes. But then on this side, I feel like we have girls that maybe are more of like the sit down, kind of watch your kids, scrolling a lot. Just like, I am doing nothing all day. I'm waiting for my spouse to get home from work so I can hand in the kids and go do my own. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think there is kind of like where do you fall in that, at least for me? And so it's like, yeah, like what are we doing that's bringing us joy? And I don't know, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, does it matter if it doesn't get done today? Mm-hmm. Or like, what actually needs to happen? And can it coexist? Like with kids, like sometimes I put a lot of pressure on myself that I'm not playing with my kids enough, you know? Which like, I don't know, like we're best buddies. I love my kids, but it is so hard for me to sit down and play Legos. Like, I don't know if any other moms are like that, but like playtime is rough for me. Like I want to be like doing stuff, you know? I can't like just sit, like watching movies, don't know. Like I can't just sit on the couch and watch a movie. It's too hard for me. I want to be doing all the things. But then I decided, what if my kids just help me with the things, you know? What if I stop feeling guilty when my son will come in from the backyard and be like, Mom, will you come throw the football with me? I'm like, I have to get the dishes done. I have to vacuum. I need to respond to some emails and then I can come play football with you, you know? But I hate that. I'm like, that's my priority order, you know? So instead now, but I'm not just going to stop everything I have to do and go play football. I say, Bud, I would love to come play football with you. If you want to come in and help me with some things I have to get done, then we can go so fast and then we can both go out and play. And that kind of like, I don't know, it helps them think, I think, about your workload and what your job is as a mom. And it helps them kind of think about how much they actually, I don't know, do you know what I'm saying?
I love that.
And so sometimes I'll have my kids come in and they'll help me with dishes. And I feel like they love it to be involved in your tasks, you know, and to kind of carry the load. I don't know, that's been a big part of just, and then I feel like I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone where I'm playing with my kids, but I'm also accomplishing my goals. It's a little slower, but I'm like double dipping, you know?
And teaching them in the meantime, which is the thing that you probably care about the most, is like that they are learning what a fulfilling life looks like and how, and you're also letting them see a little bit inside your brain on how you make decisions on what to do next by saying there are some things that feel like deadlines and there are some things that definitely are deadlines. So then they can say, well, now when I have 5 things that I have to think through, maybe when I'm 12 or 13, I've seen how moms handled that. Yeah. And she does prioritize fun and she does prioritize being present and being together. Yeah. And she also brings in people to help get jobs done. I mean, like you're teaching so much more because you're teaching the whole process and what it looked like in your brain, which I love. Yeah. And I think it helps them to recognize how much moms do. Like, I don't think it's ever, you know, I don't ever want my children to feel like it's like their job to keep me happy, right? It's not. It's not their job. But it is good for them to understand how much it takes to run a home and how if they help, then I have more time to play, you know? And I don't know, it actually is really special when your kids start helping with things in the home just organically, not necessarily. I mean, we love a good chore list, but like just coming in and helping mom with things that need to get done. And they love it. And it opens the door for conversations and the things that they, you know, like my cute Parker girl will start brushing my hair and doing my makeup while I'm folding laundry. And it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the best. So. And unless we verbalize, these are the things I'm doing, this is how I'm feeling about it, they're not going to have the empathy for motherhood. I do think it's easier for traditional male work for a dad if he leaves and to say, well, there's a lot of pressure providing for the family. Let's thank him when we go buy things. That's also too generic. And it's, you know, to really, my husband actually will be really open. Like if there's a deal that's happening, he's trying to raise money for, he'll ask our kids to pray for the deal and pray for him. And if it starts getting really stressful, like inviting your kids into that changes how they see you and what you do. I've had so many experiences almost to the point where I'm like, am I overdoing it? Do I talk too much about the stuff I do?
Oh, I don't think so.
But so many experiences where my kids like will leave little notes on my dashboard like, hey mom, just want you to know I'm praying for you. I know today's a big day. I never once thought about, except the one time I can remember thinking my mom looked stressed is when she had my baby sister, who was 10 years younger than me, 11 years younger than me actually. And she came home with the baby and I was like, my mom looks so tired. I didn't think about her work. I didn't think about her being tired. I didn't think about anything except for that one time in my life.
Wow.
And I'm like, why are my kids so good at like notes in my closet and the note on there? Or the last week, our kids were gone for a thing with their middle school, and they came back, and we had been gone. My husband and I had been gone as well. So we all came back, and it was Sunday, and we hadn't seen each other for like 4 days, which is the longest I've been without our 12-year-old twins. And I was just like, tell me a highlight. What was something that you loved? And so one of our twins is like telling me about this thing that she loved. And then I'm like expecting the conversation to kind of be over. I think we're both getting ready for, I don't remember, something the next morning. And she's like, well, how about you? Tell me about something on your getaway with dad.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, to raise kids who can put themselves in someone else's shoes, especially in adult shoes.
As a 12-year-old?
As a 12-year-old.
That's incredible. Like,
but if you let them into that,
yeah.
And I think sometimes moms can feel invisible in the work that they're doing. Well, maybe part of it's your own fault.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you can't talk about anything. You can't share that you're feeling sad. And now again, it's not your kid's job to make you happy.
Right. There's the guilt aspect where you don't want that to be on your kids.
100%. But you can be open about moms have hard days.
Totally.
Moms are people too. I feel overwhelmed with the work I'm going to do. I'm trying to figure out how to troubleshoot because I have 5 things that have to get done. Like you are, again, I'm going to say this only one more time. You're opening your brain to how you make decisions. And that's really helpful for them because they are going to be in your shoes someday.
Yes.
Sooner than you think.
Yes.
And have to balance out and weigh things too.
Yeah. That's actually one of my biggest parenting hacks right now is I come onto a scene and my 6-year-old hits my 4-year-old, right? And I say, buddy, it's not okay to hit. You know better. I need you to go sit down and I'm going to come talk to you about whatever, right? And he's mad and I'm mad and maybe I handled the situation wrong. Okay. Maybe I raised my voice or whatever it is. I sit down with him, get on his level and say, bud, this is my first time being a mom. It's my first time being your mom. And it's hard for me sometimes because I love you so much and I want the best for you. My job is to help you learn and grow. So let me ask you this. If you were a dad, what would you do in this situation? If you had a 6-year-old boy and a 4-year-old boy and your 6-year-old boy hit your 4-year-old boy, what would you do? Like, help me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why don't we just kind of reverse that? Or even, it works with like preteens, like, with phones. I don't know. Help me. What do you think would be a good way to help you learn? I don't want to punish you, but in life, there's consequences, good and bad, right? So what do you think would be a good consequence to help you learn? You know what I mean? And then they're kind of like, but then they have a moment to think, okay, in mom's shoes, this is what she's, I always lead with, I love you. And that's why I'm doing this. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I have to teach you with consequences, good and bad, because that's life,
I totally have used this one with she was probably 13 or now 14-year-old and said, same thing. And it was, I think with her watch or something like, what I really want for you is to be totally responsible and not say things you don't want to say via text or whatever. How would you help yourself know how serious this is? And then she dished out a consequence that was probably 2x harder than I expected. I was like,
totally.
Oh, you don't have to do that. Like,
yeah, I totally get it. It is good though, I think, to let them in and to kind of, I don't know, help. I guess when I was growing up and like you were saying, like I never really saw my mom struggle too much. I didn't realize the load that she was carrying, and I wish I would have, I think it would have given me more perspective, like
totally.
Like we talk about, in the morning, it's like your teachers too, help your teachers have a good day. It's not just sit by the kid at lunch who maybe doesn't have any friends, because I think we talk about that a lot, but it's like your teachers, your aides, they're all people, right? And how can you help your teacher have a good day? Let's talk about some things you can actually do,
Oh,
I think it's important. I don't know.
That awareness of other people. And again, talking about building a beautiful life is when you're looking outward and thinking about what other people are thinking and experiencing and going through.
Yes.
And that can be taught, which is really cool when a kid gets that earlier.
Yeah.
It's so humbling as a mom. It's like the biggest payoff ever.
Oh,
I was in my 20s when I realized that adults had feelings. Okay, good job.
Bye. Okay, great job. Yeah, I know. And I think it's great. And again, I think it's because all of these different parenting ideas and concepts are coming out via social, at least for me. We have so much access to information, which you can use that as a negative thing or a positive thing. You know, you still have to use your own brain. There's gonna be some really terrible advice out there, but at least it's out there, you know?
Yes.
Back in the day, like you were kind of flying by the seat of your pants. You don't go to school to become a parent, you know?
Totally.
It's wild time.
And maybe you just hear one side and one perspective and one way things are done. I also think when people say that about social media, I'm like, but don't forget, we also have AI platforms that can give you the real studies. So you can say, okay, I'm hearing this and I'm hearing this. Break down the studies on both sides. Like one of my favorite quotes from a religious leader is good information precedes good inspiration. And if you actually have good information coming in, you're going to make a better decision. Like it's a no-brainer that then what fills your heart, what you feel like is a spiritual answer or the answer for you, if you didn't have good information to start with. So yeah, be mad at socials that it's feeding all you this stuff, but it's also like, that's just all information.
Yeah.
I can take or leave anything that I hear at any point. Now, maybe they're heated and it's feeling like I'm going to like hurt my kids on either place. Again, you can take that to AI and say, how much of this is actually serious?
Yeah.
What is the potential damage if I didn't do this with my child? That was always me when I was young, like a young mom when my kids were young.
Back when you were a whippersnapper?
Back when I didn't have white hair and I was a wise old sage.
Back when we weren't sitting on the bench in the Salt Lake airport?
Yes. Like, okay, people are saying I should have, like social saying this, or I should have done this with my kids young. How detrimental is that actually that I didn't do this when my child was 2? And if they're now 8, what could I do now to put them in the same spot?
I love that.
Like just take it information unemotionally and use it to make you better, you know?
Yep. I love that. Yeah. I love that. I think another thing too with social and building a beautiful life is like, don't give anyone the power over your happiness. Anyone or anything, right? Like whether that's your spouse or how you're feeling about yourself that day or the social you're choosing to consume. Because I think we've all gone through that where we see something and it kind of hits us in a certain way and then our heart drops and we're kind of in a bad mood the rest of the day. Or maybe our spouse comes in and they're frazzled. And so now I'm frazzled and I'm mad. It's like you are in control of your own happiness, your own beautiful life. Don't let anyone else be in charge of that. It's your responsibility. It's no one else's, you know? And I think especially in today's day and age, like we are just looking for a reason to be upset when really it's on us to choose what we focus on and how to look at things. And, we need to take back that responsibility. Social media is not, I don't even know. Social media is not the enemy here. It's what you're choosing to consume on that social, right?
I have a coach that works with me and my husband who is like changing our lives. He has been so awesome. And one thing he taught us as we're like working through stuff or talking about stuff, I think also applies to seeing things online or giving anyone else the reins on your happiness and your emotions. And I think if you can actually verbalize it, it's even better than just like kind of thinking in your mind. And it's the state what you're feeling, what you're sensing, or what you're experiencing. And it can't then be placed on anyone else. So like you said, your husband comes home and he's frazzled, then you feel frazzled. And this is a pattern. And what you want to say is every time you come home and you're frazzled, I'm frazzled. It just ruins the whole house. But if instead you can say, I'm feeling frazzled right now and I don't want to feel that way, or I just saw something online, and like you recognize when you go to a place that you don't like emotionally. Maybe it's anger, frustration, feeling less than, whatever. If right then you can say like, I'm sensing my heart is racing. I'm sensing that I'm feeling pressure, like I'm not enough. I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel like this. Now what can I do about that?
I love it.
I sense and I feel that if my husband comes home and he's frazzled, I get frazzled every time. What do I want to do about that? And I, like you said, I have the reins and I can share that with my husband. Like, I'm feeling so frazzled. I would love our home to feel like this. What do you think we could do?
Yeah.
I don't know why my emotions are so swayed and I love you and I don't want to do this, but I don't actually have ideas here yet.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas?
I love that. I think that's so critical too with having like a good marriage. I think that's obviously like a core part of, at least in my life, having a beautiful life is a really solid partner I can confide in and that I love, And I think figuring out that communication is so critical. And one thing I think is funny, and I don't know why it's stuck, but like what is it? Never go to bed angry. I'm like, that has got to be the worst advice anyone has ever given on the planet. Go to bed raging. Wake up, eat some breakfast, okay?
Yes.
Take some time by yourself.
Yes.
And then talk like rational people. Like, I can't tell you, like why are we always trying to do conflict resolution in the heat of aggression? You know what I mean? And me and my husband don't fight a lot. That makes it sound like we are.
No, amen.
But I mean, if you're not fighting, one person's doing all the thinking, right? Like, you spend so much time together, there's going to be conflicts. But like, let's talk when we're both like in a spot where we love each other. You know what I mean?
Amen.
Yes.
I still hear that at like bridal showers from old people. And I'm like,
ugh.
Are you serious? So you have to resolve conflict at 10 o'clock at night when you're
both
exhausted?
fried?
You have no brains.
No.
And the emotion is the highest it's ever
you're not
been.
thinking. You guys are both on defense.
You have no thinking brain.
No thinking brain.
You have emotion brain.
Shut it down.
Oh, no one fight at night. No one.
Everybody go to bed mad.
Everybody go, or just say like, I love you. Do you want to watch a show? Or I love you. Or do you want to be together?
That's been the best thing ever to just be like, I need a minute.
Through things.
Yeah.
There's probably not even anything here. And even say it like that, because actually there's probably nothing there. If it were really something big, you would know it, because there's only like 5 big things in a marriage that would really be big enough that you should hate each other for a few days.
Yeah.
Just like, it's probably nothing. I just need a clear mind. Can we just hang out and have fun?
Mm-hmm.
I actually heard the other best piece of advice. This is our marriage section right now.
Okay. From family, now we're married.
From Arthur Brooks. And he gave his like 4 best pieces of marriage advice. And I think the first thing he mentioned, or maybe the second, was have more fun than grievances. And I was like, wait, I have to listen to this again, because I've been married 16 years and I'm really good at working through grievances where it's like, you did this, I feel this way, we need to work on that. Like, the pool gets left open and the little things fall in it, but you like the pool. Like, we have to walk through everything. We have to work through it.
Yeah.
But I was like, what if I change my ratio for every time I have to air a grievance about myself or about him or our family, I have to have at least as much fun in our marriage.
I love that.
And so I was like, I already used my grievance quota. We have to go play a game, or we have to go on a walk, or,
I love it.
And every time, I've done this for 2 weeks now, so I have not proven this very long, but you can trust me. I'll be a wise old age saying the same thing.
Yes.
I'm sure on this one.
We're super wise.
We
and
know.
old.
Like, every time I've been like, oh, I want to talk about this, and instead I choose fun, it just melts it away.
Wow, I love
that.
that.
It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter.
He can help me clean out the pool. If he really likes it open,
It does not
I don't
matter.
have to say the pool's on me. Why is the pool on me? If he wants it open, I could just be like, oh, I love the pool open too. Who wants to clean it next?
Yeah.
It doesn't actually matter. It's not on me right now.
It's so true. But I feel like also we're conditioned to be bothered by things in our marriage. Like the whole like seat up thing. Like, you gotta, and if it really does bother you, then that's great. And like, you need to work through that. But does it actually? Like, take a minute to be like, am I actually bothered by this? Or was I conditioned to be bothered by this? And then just let it go. Unless it's a big deal. Like, always talk about things that have, you know, if there's like a pattern and you're like, this is actually really bothering me, wait till you're both in a really good mood and you are loving each other.
Yep.
And then be like, hey, can I talk to you about something? I know you're not trying to do this, but it just irritates me. And I know there's things that I do that irritate you. 100% a different conversation than when you're both mad. You know?
I've even started, I have lots of marriage advice, because that's been like my husband and I, like, he has to live with me and that takes a lot of work.
I love it.
But one thing I've also started to do is just like first go talk to ChatGPT about it.
Oh my gosh. Why is it our best friend? I'm like, Chat?
So
we're on a first name basis. I call him Chat.
So helpful. It is.
It is.
But I'm like, this is so hard. This is so frustrating. Call out my emotion in the situation.
Wow.
And it's so good, because it's like, okay, these are some real things. Like, here's where the real conversation is.
Yeah.
And here's where you're just emotional and you just want to let off steam.
Yeah.
Let off steam before the conversation. Go let it off on a run or in a conversation with a girlfriend. Like, you may actually need to let off steam because it's kind of lame. And sometimes men do things that bug women. And that's a girl would get it. He probably won't even get it.
Totally.
But then if you can come with the real thing because you've worked through that, now it's logical.
It's gonna be
It's not even
and
that
you'll
big,
get somewhere with it.
and you'll solve it. And if it's like we still don't see eye to eye, at least you know I would prefer it another way, but doesn't matter.
Exactly. And then you know that I'm trying my best and you're trying your best, and at least it's out there.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I'm like, don't be mad at your spouse when they don't even know it's a thing. You know what I mean? Like, give them a chance to anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's great. I love it. And also like with the like coming home frazzled thing, I've really tried in the last little bit to, instead of, I feel like when someone comes home frazzled, you're immediately like, okay, well now I'm mad. Like you just ruin that for everybody. And then you're just like, you know, but I'm like, what if instead we had a less selfish approach? Because that is kind of a selfish approach. Like you are not making me happy, right? Maybe it's not that at all. Maybe they need extra love right now. And even though it's the hardest thing and you don't feel like you have extra love to give, see what that could do. You know what I mean? Just like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Just let your guard down, which is so hard. Like I have really had to work on letting my guard down and trying to put my spouse above myself and his needs and his emotions because men have them. Shockingly, you know, like they're not allowed to, but they do. And so I don't know. That's been something that's helped too a lot, is just like really prioritizing your relationship, making it your best friend, you know?
And thinking about that, like, yeah, it's selfish. And so it's like, oh, shameful, selfishness. I should never have it. No, actually, it just means you meant it, you took it as it, like it was relating to you.
Yeah. When it
Selfishness
wasn't.
means it's personal when what if it wasn't personal at all? And so if your approach is this wasn't personal, he's sad, mad, frustrated.
Then it's completely
Well, if it's
different.
not personal, I have a bubble around myself where that doesn't even impact me. If I have the emotional capacity, I can turn to him and say like, hey, something feels off. Do you need anything? Do you want to talk about anything? Just get curious, but don't internalize something or personalize something when probably the majority of the time it had nothing to do with you. That's real selfishness where it's like, it's not a shame thing. I'm not telling you you're a bad person. I'm just telling you it doesn't have to be about you, which means you can keep your peace.
Yeah.
Way more often.
Love that. I am so bad at that. I love that. That was therapy right there. So
There's
now
my
it's
therapy
my
eyes
turn.
coming out.
Yeah. Really though, because I do that all the time where I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't like me. Da, 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 and then you spiral. And it's, I mean, women just do that. Why?
Do it.
It's horrible.
Because we live in our heads, I think, too much. And especially today, in today's age, if you've not really talked to another adult the whole day, then you for sure probably spun something in your mind that didn't need to.
Oh yeah. Like if you, that's the thing. That's the thing too, I think, which is something that I am so big on, is like motherhood is the most important role. It's not your only role. Because when you're in those moments where you're just in your head about things, like now, instead of scrolling, I'm always doing project research and it's amazing. It's so fun. Like I have somewhere, you know, because I'm going to be on my phone sometimes. Everyone is, you know what I mean? But what you're doing on that phone can look so different, you know? Like I remember feeling really guilty a while ago, like, you know, to my husband, I'm like, Justin, I'm always on my phone working. Like, I just don't want to, like, I don't want to be on my phone anymore. And he's like, Sarah, you would be on your phone scrolling or you would be on your phone editing. Like you're still, you know what I mean? And not to say, like, obviously phone boundaries, that's a whole topic for another day. Sure. But it's true. Like you always blame these external things. And I think that's kind of like full circle with what we're talking about. You blame all of these external things when really it's like, girl, that's on you and it's going to be okay. And you know what I mean? Just take it down. What actually matters, be in the moment. Like it's going to be okay, you know?
Yep. And yeah, the full circle moment of like, nothing is permanent. The moment I know better, I'm going to try to do a little bit better. Let the joy lead. When something's not working, drop it. So you painted a wall and you hated it. So you thought you were going to be into power tools and you bought one and it's not your thing.
Yeah.
Sell it.
Yeah.
Buy something else. Think about the next thing.
Right.
But the more you can iterate, the more you can journal. I'm going to tell you to journal again. You got to journal.
Always
the more you
that.
can be really honest with yourself with what you want and why you're doing what you're doing. At that point, then I'm going to bring it back to the mountain. Then you just keep climbing. And you know, it's like, if it doesn't work, I'm going to find another way up the hill.
Yes.
Because that's what I do. And no failure is permanent.
Totally.
It isn't. Not with your kids, not with your spouse, not with yourself. Especially if you're okay to say sorry and to ask for a do-over and to tell your kids or your husband, like, I just messed that one up and I take full accountability. That was just lame. I don't know what I was thinking, whatever.
Yes.
You'll have the ability and the capacity to just say, I'm still on it. I'm still on the mountain, still in this marriage, still in this family, still figuring out that fulfilling life. And here's the wise old sage to end this rant. Then you'll do it.
Yes. Exactly. Once you actually believe that, once you can actually believe that, you will do incredible things. Incredible things.
And your beautiful life that you thought you had planned for yourself is probably going to pale in comparison of the opportunities and the people and the projects and the fun and the stillness and the presence that actually is in store for you.
100%.
Girl, I want to do a podcast with you. This is so fun.
Okay,
You're
I'm not
really
even
fun.
kidding. I will be your co-host. I want a podcast, but I want to talk to somebody and I don't want to do anything else. I just want to talk. I'll just show up.
This is so fun.
I'll come knock on your door.
You come knock on my door. Love the like 30s and 40s perspective.
I know. So
love
fun.
this conversation. Yeah. Everyone, you need to go follow Sarah just because the same joy that she brings life with is like visible on a page as she's building a bunk bed somehow. And
you're so sweet.
It's so fun.
It's so fun.
But thanks for joining me today.
Thanks so much. So fun.
Let's do it again.
Okay.
I hope you loved that conversation with Sarah as much as I did. I think one of the biggest takeaways from this episode is that beautiful lives are not built all at once. They are built slowly, over time, through small decisions, learning new skills, fixing mistakes, building relationships, and just continuing to show up and try again. Sarah is such a great example of someone who didn't just learn how to build houses and DIY projects, but who focused on also building herself, being radically honest, focusing on confidence, her marriage, and her family all along the way. And I think that's something all of us are really trying to do. Just build meaningful, beautiful lives, good lives over time. If you don't already follow her, you should definitely go find her on Instagram at Sarah Flips It, because she shares incredible projects, but also about life, family, the chaos of it all, and how to figure things out along the way. And again, if you've missed it, this month we're doing something really special through our Share Good, Do Good campaign. Our sponsor, Capita Financial Network, is donating $1 for every download of this show to Return and Rise, which offers fully sponsored 10-week programs that help women enter or re-enter the workforce, gain skills, build confidence, and figure out what's next for their lives and careers. So if you want to be a part of that, the best thing you can do is share this episode, because every download literally helps another woman build her next chapter. And if you know someone, or maybe if you're someone who could benefit from Return and Rise, head over to the link in the show notes to join the next cohort, which is going to start soon. And if you're listening in and you need some help with your own financial life, Capita Financial Network is for you. And they're offering something really great for all of you listeners of the Lizzy Jensen Show, where you can have a free virtual or in-person consultation if you mention the show. Confidence in your finances equals confidence in life, so reach out to them. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week.